Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio. I'll just start like this. Nobody cares for you in Washington. In Washington, D.C. And if you think they do, you've been bought by the media, and you have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm here to inform you. So, Marco Rubio. So, we've had a student debt crisis. Let me see. Sorry. Just check. So my door was creaking. Whatever. So, Marco Rubio. We have a student debt crisis in this country, and we've effectively got $1.7 million in student debt. $1.7 trillion in student debt. 1.7 trillion. And so, Marco Rubio comes out with this hilarious bill. Freaking stupid ass. It's like horrendous, pathetic, stupid, off the charts, awful kind of bill, okay? He's a Republican, of course. And basically, the bill that he came out with says, hey, if you survive a terrorist attack, we'll give you a 1-year deferment on your loans. Meaning, for a whole year after, you can have a deferment on your student loans. Wow. This kind of reminds me of like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's thing where it was like, well, and there's sirens. Like, oh, you have to open a business, and it has to be a small business, and it has to be a small business of color, or a small business in a community of color or disadvantaged community, and you have to and it's gonna be $10,000, but then it's gonna be this much, or maybe it could be that much, and it's like, what the. It's like all these hoops you gotta jump through just to get student loan payments. And by the way, it kind of works like this too, where like if you go to school for a certain degree, they'll tell you, hey, you can we'll forgive your student debt if you work this many years in this program, in this kind of teaching, or this or that, you're helping people. It's like all those hoops you gotta cross. And this whole thing of, oh, you survive a terrorist attack. They're not offering anything. What they're saying is, hey, for a whole year, you won't have to pay your student loans. You'll just have more time to save the money and then pay us a shitload of money when finally it's time. Oh my God. How stupid is this? I'm going to be honest, I knew the Republican Party was stupid, but I didn't know it could get this stupid. Well, actually, I did, I guess. But this is effectively what he's saying is, oh, well, we're not going to forgive your student debt. But here's what we'll do. We'll give you 1 year. We've got an effective problem in this country when people are up to their eyeballs in student debt and they can't pay it off. They can't buy a house, they can't buy a car, they can't save money to send their kids to college, they can't do nothing, they can't invest their money and grow their financial freedom and have income protection. They can't pay premiums for life insurance, which I'm doing now. They can't do any of that because they're paying off their student debt, and their student debt is crippling them. This is, right? Like, I mean, think about how much of a stimulus our economy would have if all of a sudden we just forgave that $1.7 trillion. Like, just like that. That would make a whole lot of sense. It would make a whole lot of sense. But see, in Washington, they don't care about you. Because you have Republicans who are off the charts, corrupt, horrible. All they care about is war in the Middle East, tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, and a bunch of evil plans like that. And then you have the Democrats who are like diet Republicans, as Kyle Kalinske calls them on Secular Talk. On Secular Talk, the Kyle Kalinske show, and they want to be like the Republicans. But they try and be in the middle, like, oh my God, I'm in the middle. I'm not as bad as the Republicans, but I'm still better than the Republicans, even though I'm not going to give you shit. And this is why we have the crisis that we do with the student loans. This is why. And, Joe Biden even said, oh, we're going to do $50,000 in student debt. Did I say that? I meant 20. Did I say that? I meant 10,000. Oh, now go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourselves. Oh, and by the way, I'm just going to forgive less than 1% of student debt. So I'm going to forgive $1 billion. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, here's the thing, right? Joe Biden could get rid of student debt. I've covered this issue at length. And the Higher Education Act lets him do that. It gives him the authority to tell the Secretary of Education, fuck the debt, get rid of it, all of it, right now. Swipe of a pen, just boom, just like that. But he won't do it because he's a corporatist. He's a Democratic hack. He's a fraud. He's a right-wing fraud. And people say, oh, well, he doesn't think he has the authority. You have the intelligence. You have everything at your disposal. You can find out if you have the authority. But even if he thinks that, how stupid is this? Guys, people, we should have free college in this country. We should have no student debt in this country. And people think, oh my God, how ridiculous. You want free college? How are you going to pay for it? That's ridiculous. How is that ridiculous? We got free high school, middle school, elementary school, pre-K, most of it, right? Public high schools, you can go for free because it's free at the point of service. It's funded by public tax dollars. Funded by public tax dollars. That's high school in this country. And if you say, oh, we shouldn't have that, you'd get laughed out of the room like, you idiot. But when we talk about that with free college, oh, ridiculous. We have firefighters that come to your house whenever there's a fire or there's a flood or there's something. Or you're in a car accident and they come and they help you. And that's free at the point of service because it's funded by public tax dollars. We have the cops. I don't like the cops. We need to defund the police. But guess what? They're funded by tax dollars. And guys, like when in the pandemic, when the whole thing went to shit hit the fan, everything was just in hell, and it was March 2020 in April 2020. The feds were like, you know what? The Federal Reserve was like, you know what? We're going to dump trillions of dollars a day, $12 trillion a day into the stock market, into the market systems so that they don't plunge. And we're going to give it to the banks. And the banks didn't need any of that money. Any. Chase Bank, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, community banks, all of them, they all gave that money back. Like, dude, we don't need this money, but thanks. They didn't even go to Congress because effectively after the Great Recession, they said, you don't need our permission anymore. You can protect the system anytime you want. So they gave $12 trillion a day. $12 trillion a day. That's over $100 trillion to the people who needed it the least. The rich. But they can't forgive $1.7 trillion. Guys, you forgive that $1.7 trillion. You can buy a house. You can improve your credit. You can buy a car. You can take your family on vacation. You can invest in an investment account, an IRA or a SEP IRA or a stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance. You can do all of that if we just forgive student debt, make college free. But no, because the people in Washington don't work for you. They work for people like the billionaires that we talked about today who buy our system. That's who they work for. That's who they work for. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no getting by it. That's who they work for. So we have a Democratic president who won't do jack about the student loan crisis, even though he has the authority, and then he plays a bunch of hoops with you, and like, not basketball, but just, he lies to you and says, I'm going to forgive this much. But then he doesn't do it, and he says, go F yourselves, And then you have Republicans who come up with dumbass bills like this. Hey, we will forgive you student loans if a partial of them if your mom opens a store with your sister in the inner city or Iraq, and then you have to get shot and possibly get your arm blown off by a bomb or something, an IUD, or what do they call? Not an IUD, that's for girls. Oh my God, UID, whatever it is, and my military people can tell me. And then you have to survive that, and then we'll maybe forgive about 10,000. Did I say 10,000? I meant 5,000. Did I mean 20,000? Did I mean 10,000? Did I say 20? 10,000. Did I say 10,000? Never mind. We're not going to forgive anything for you. But you also have to do 5 years of this. Oh my God. It just, you think it can get worse. You think it can get worse. This is the kind of shit that's being floated around, and Marco Rubio's like, ha! I nailed it. We've got $1.7 trillion in student loans. We have to forgive these student loans. There's no sense in having it when the rich get everything paid for themselves, by the politicians.